In your arms so tight, you let me know everything's alright. I'm hooked on a feeling.
He crushed it.
I'm high on
It's a grand slam.
that you're in love with me.
I'm telling you, it's time to party.
Lips as sweet as candy.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome to SoxHub Podcast, Episode 3, home of your last place, Boston Red Sox. I'm your host, Brandon McAlery, and alongside of me is the one, the only, the zesty lefty slinger, Trotty to Hottie, a.k.a. Matt. Trotta, how you doing, my friend?
You know how it be. Living the dream. Running at God's speed. How about yourself, buddy?
Well, as you can tell, you know, I'm trying to stay positive right now. Went to the game today and got a free Wally headband, so figured out
great
rock
on you.
that a little bit and just have some fun with it because, you know, vibes have not been good, and that's the second podcast that we are starting now with vibes haven't been great lately.
No, not ideal. But there's still some positivity creeping out there.
I
Just a
hope
little
so.
bit.
I hope so. That just that little bit right there. I really hope that little bit, because last episode, let me tell you, vibes were down hard, and then by the end of it, you had got me jacked up, ready to put my head through a
Yes.
goddamn brick fucking wall. So
Yep.
this episode,
I saw
you have a lot to live up to.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll get there. We'll start off by saying, you know, I know you just said we're last place, but 500 ball club, 10-10, going on the road where we thrived at the beginning of the year. Not bad.
Pretty goddamn good. However, keep in mind too, we are a 500 ball club with this team, with our replacement level players, our AAA, Quad A team, whatever the hell you want to call it, up in the bigs right now playing. We got Pablo Reyes playing third. We got David Hamilton playing short. Emmanuel Valdez playing second base. It just pretty much the whole infield. Like the outfield, been fine. I mean, Sedane's not hitting, but he's making plays. Willier has actually grown on me lately. He's been pretty damn good out there. And obviously, like Jaron Duran, just the best one that we have. The Angry Lizard. Fucking love it. And I know we had talked about this already, speaking of Jaron Duran. Loomer Loney in the broadcast in this, it was during the Angels series, had said how he looks like, Jaron Duran looks like an angry lizard running down the line. And honestly, he looks like a hockey player, to be honest with you, but at the same time too, I couldn't agree more with that statement.
Oh, absolutely. Especially when you go look up what a lizard looks like when they run. It is the most spot-on thing in the world. The way the legs are just absolutely a little wide, the feet are a little wide, the ankles are wide, and it is just leaving the dirt going all around. Oh, my goodness.
I'm picturing like the, what was that old cartoon? Like some of our listeners, this might be well beyond your age, but Coyote Wild or whatever it was, where the coyote would chase the Roadrunner.
Roadrunner.
Was it called
Wile E.
Roadrunner?
Coyote.
Wile E. Coyote. That's
Jesus
what it was. Anyways,
Christmas.
I'm just picturing how like you said, the dirt just kicking up there.
Yeah, for a Roadrunner.
Yep. Just literally go watch a video of a lizard running and put it next to Jaron Duran, and you're going to see some scary resemblance. Like they run angrily because half the time they're running for their life.
Direct correlation.
But nah, this is where vibes are at right now. I'm out here drinking some whiskey on the pod because I was at the game today. It was a cold, rainy day, and
Thaw yourself out.
It wasn't great. The past, 3 out of 4 games have not been great.
Yeah, take a sip. Warm your heart a little bit.
You know what? This also reminds me of, this podcast is brought to you by Bullet Slider Whiskey, the proud home of the Red Sox branded whiskey. And let me tell you, that precision craftsmanship's smoothly savored and violently delivered.
That it is, my brother. That it is.
I bet you Sheriff Campbell's drinking a lot of that right now, sitting on the IL.
Oh, I bet he's drinking a whole tray of that a day, my friend. I bet the doctor prescribed him that, to be exact, just to get rid of the pain and sorrow, physically, mentally, psychologically, the whole thing. Physically, psychologically, mentally, physically.
Physiologically. It burns so good. But no,
Yes.
In all honesty, I self-prescribed it, and it does help a little bit with the sorrows. I'm not going to lie to you.
That's fantastic. I don't know if that's what they were going for, but killing two birds with one stone, because the Red Sox team right now, with the defense and the bats overall, like when you look at the larger sample size, but the pitching, which the Bullet Slider Whiskey is branded on, is doing well. So it's kind of like a win-win.
It is.
You're,
And honestly,
you're celebrating the starters or the relievers doing tremendous, and then at the same time, you're drowning your sorrows from the Red Sox loss because of.
but I like to get on a more serious note with that, though. I think that's probably what's causing the drinking right now. Is that we had every expectation this year of coming in and the rotation and like the bullpen being okay, probably our best area on our team, but our rotation we knew was probably not going to be great. It was going to suck, all this stuff. And that's the one thing that's actually been absolutely outstanding. We have the lowest ERA in the fucking majors with the staff that we have. But that's what is so frustrating, is that that's what was supposed to suck. Not our offense, not our defense, because Trevor Story was going to be here. You know what I mean? Sedane out in center, moving guys around, Tyler O'Neill out and right. We were not supposed to suck where we've sucked, and we were not supposed to be good where we're good. And That's what I think is frustrating.
Hopefully that stuff doesn't flip-flop and even out, because I still think we're going to get a similar win-loss result right there that we've been getting as of late. But, man, if the pitching can sustain and that offense figures itself out, Alex Cora works his magic to fix this defensive mishap all over the field, this gets weird in a very, very good way.
That it does. So to our listeners, we're going to try again our hardest to keep this down to 2 hours or under 2 hours. But again, no promises. It's been a few days since we've recorded. Lots of stuff has happened. Lots of stuff to talk about. And again, once you get two guys who love the game, they're married to it, they're addicted to it, there's no stopping us.
We can't stop. We won't stop back. We will never stop. Ever. Ever. Whoa! I didn't know you cut that off.
That was perfect. So we do have a packed house today with stuff that we want to talk about. Some of the stuff we could be diving pretty deep into. But to kick it off, I figure we will very, very quickly recap the Angel series, because the last time that we had recorded, they had only played the first two games. And then obviously Sunday's game happened. We're going to talk about some of that stuff, name a SHS MVP, SoxHub Series MVP, and then dive into the Guardians game probably relatively quickly, just to recap it of some of the exciting stuff, which there really was only one exciting thing as we know of, and then kind of get into some good topics that I think you and I are going to have some really good discussion about tonight. So without further ado, Angel Series recap. As we know, Friday, 4-12, 7-0 loss. Already recapped that. Was terrible. Didn't enjoy it. Saturday, 4-13, 7-2 win. That was the game that you were watching live when we recorded last time, and Nolan Shanuel had caught, and I believe it was a cutter from I believe it was Whitlock. I do believe it was actually Whitlock pitching that day, and caught a cutter off the barrel of the bat that foul tipped into his penis, and then promptly stayed in to finish the at bat, struck out looking, and you could tell he was tense up there. He did not want to be in that batter's box whatsoever. Yeah. And he got replaced for Miguel Sano, who then later landed on Emmanuel Valdez, and I thought broke his wrist. But it came to find out that he had foul tipped the ball off his penis and then was taken out for the game because of testicular contusion.
Gotta just protect wild. Those fuckers.
Yep, I wonder if he's gonna start wearing a cup.
That would be the suggestion.
I mean, you get hit in the face, you put on the what's it called? The face guard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the stand piece.
Like, you do that. Yep. You get hit in the nuts, you wear a cup.
Yep, that would make sense.
You would think so. In fairness,
that's the only time that's happened this year, though. On a side note, where a Red Sox pitcher has thrown a pitch that fooled a batter so badly that it hit them, whether it's a kneecap or the ankle or the hip or the schnutzkies in this case.
Well, I'm assuming. I mean, now we might as well get into it very quickly. Just this one pitch, the J Ram strikeout from Bernardino.
Yes.
That was absolutely disgusting. Did you see Cleveland's Twitter that it tweeted at, I think, Pitching Ninja and was like, please delete this ASAP.
At least they're having fun with it. That's all you can do there.
Oh, in that sense, yeah, you got one of the best players in the game swinging like that. But anyways, so Saturday was a 7-2 win. We didn't necessarily recap that one, but very briefly. We had 0 errors in that game, and ironically enough, we won. Massa was 2-4 with a run and 2 RBIs. Willier went 2-4 with 2 runs and an RBI. Did strike out twice. And Casas went 1-4 with a home run and 2 RBIs. As a staff, we had 10 Ks to 2 walks, so that was a big positive to see. Just trying to limit those walks. We've talked about that. Sunday, the series finale. This game, I'm not going to lie to you, like, I had heart palpitations, and you're going to hear that come up probably 7 different times talking about Kenley fucking Jansen this episode, but literally, like, heart feel like it was not skipping a beat, like just stopping.
Yeah.
And then, like, going really fast, and I don't even know. It was just like Kenley being Kenley. Anyways.
Kenley's couch ERA just rose to a 55 on the year from his original 30. How do you do that? I have no idea.
Kenley being Kenley.
Yep.
But 5-4 win. 0 errors committed. Starting to see a trend, and we're only 2 games into this right now. With 2 wins, 0 errors. Wow.
0. That's good, right?
Home runs. I believe the less that you want to make, less errors is good. From my understanding. Because the only reason I say that, okay, I don't know for sure, but the Red Sox have made a lot of them, if not the most of them in the MLB, and they haven't been doing good. So assuming you make less, you do better.
Right. All right.
Yeah, all right. Just an assumption.
I was just a little confused. Thank you.
It's okay. We're here to clear that stuff up. Home runs by Massa, O'Neill, and Casas in this game. And Casas hit a fucking dick shot.
Ooh, he did.
Dick shot. He said it himself. He goes, that's the best ball I've hit in the MLB so far. It was 114 off the bat and traveled a 429 feet. Now, before we get into this stuff, did you hear his comments about the red seat?
Yeah, he said he doesn't know if it was real, if that's like the actual distance that thing traveled. Am I right?
Yes, pretty much. And the way he was saying it was giving props to Ted Williams. Like, I don't know, man, it seems fucking impossible to me. Like, for him to go out there and do that, that's pretty goddamn impressive.
People are reading it wrong.
Exactly. Everybody's sitting there thinking, like, who the fuck's this kid? Why don't you stay in the majors for more than 1 year? Why don't you do it for more than blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just they're tearing the kid apart, a 24-year-old kid, for just going out there and like giving props to Ted Williams for hitting the ball a supposed 502 feet. Like,
Changing out with David Ortiz.
not
Well, he was
David,
complaining
not
about it.
Manny, not anybody. Mo Vaughn, I believe, had said it as well. Like, none of these guys got shit for it. Like, why the hell are we giving Tristan Casas shit over here? Blows my mind.
He sunbathes and paints his fingies.
Daddy sure does. That's the one thing Haley knows about this man. I go, that's Tristan Casas. And she goes, that's the one that sunbathes in the right field and paints his nails, right? I go, that's him. That's him.
Very good, honey. Very good.
Oh. I'm going to read one of my notes from today's game, and I know we're talking about the Angels series, but yeah. I got to mention this. So I wrote down on today's games. We are definitely a family podcast. So if you have below 18-year-old ears here, please don't listen to this part. Just bleep it out. Cassis's pregame stretching is stuff I want to try in the bedroom. Like, he's over here, like he's getting on. He's like, he's doing the hip stretch where like you would put your elbows between your knees and then like standing up on them. And I was like, okay. But then he like gets on all fours and starts hip thrusting into the ground. Ooh. And like just working it. And Haley's like, why is he fucking the ground? And I was like,
he's just everything.
I was like, exactly. He's A, practicing for later probably. B, he's hopefully practicing for what he's going to do to a fucking baseball. Like just anything like that. But then on top of it, he like started flipping it from side to side a little bit here. And then, like I said, he like got up. So like before he was on all fours with like literally like into the ground. Then he like got up a little bit more, put one leg out and started thrusting. And I was like, God damn. I was like, okay.
Big house to move.
Right leg up, left knee back, thrust 3 times.
We're going to have to give that a bid here.
That's what I'm saying. We're going to try it out and see what happens. We'll see if I hit a home run.
Can you get some video next time so we can have something to work off of?
Yes, I actually
have like some visual examples here.
I did almost get this, so I absolutely will have to get it next time, or I'll see if I can Google it and find it. But it's unreal. It's stuff that I would like to try in the bedroom. But moving on. So Angel Series finale, 5-4 win, home runs by Masa, O'Neill, Casas, Bayo, 5.1 innings pitched, 6 hits, 2 earned run, 8 Ks, 2 walks. Did let up a home run though. Pretty impressive stat line right there. I know he didn't pitch into the 6th, but. Yep. King 8 guys, I think, was probably the more impressive thing for me. I'd assumed he probably would have wanted to try to pitch the more contact, try to give the bullpen a little bit of rest, try to go a little bit deeper into the game. But Kane 8 guys from a guy who's not typically a strikeout pitcher, I like to see that.
Absolutely. I love it.
And then my next note, too, was Kenley comes into the game in the bottom of the 9th and immediately walked a guy. No, let up a hit, walked a guy. And now we got bases loaded. Oh, no, I'm sorry. 2nd and 3rd. We had guys on 2nd and 3rd. So we let up a hit and a walk. And Trout comes up with 2 outs. And there are a ton of people that were like, why are we not just walking Mike Trout here? Let's put him on first base and then go face the other crappy guy out here. And it's like, no, let's not do that because Kenley Jansen has just as good of a chance to walk him without having to intentionally walk him. Like, let's try to get the guy out right now. And then if he walks him and gets on first base, so be it. But, like, Kenley clearly did not have feel for the pitches. And so walking Mike Trout to load the bases and then potentially walk in the tying run, you would have seen a broken TV in my background today.
Absolutely.
But anyways, he ends up pulling a Pat Light and strikes out Mike Trout to end the game. And just like that, the Sox win the series 2-1.
Yes. And vibes were immaculate.
They were booming. I'm not going to lie to you. I was feeling fucking good. I was feeling real good. So, SHS MVP, who do you got? I don't know if you have numbers, but based on the eye test, maybe.
Eye test and just, 2 home runs, 3 RBIs in the series, especially the ones that we won. Tristan Casas all day. You got to give it to him. If he wasn't in those games, who knows if we're going to win those. You got to go with him and his bat. It's getting hot.
So it's a very good answer, and to be honest with you, it is probably the correct answer. But he also only had 2 hits that series. Now, granted, they were home runs, but he only had 2 hits, and that's what kind of gets me a little bit there. But I do kind of like where the home runs come into play, like how that affects the outcome of the ball game. So, like for instance, Wong had a couple game tying home runs or go ahead home runs and stuff like that. Like that's a big moment and big things like that. But to be honest with you, part of me really wants to go Masataka Yoshida. And the reason that I say that is he obviously, he got the bat going a little bit in Anaheim. He had a couple hits. He had a few RBIs. I think he had 3 or 4 RBIs that series. And just the home run was big. I think he needed that. I needed that. You needed that. Red Sox Nation needed that. Because, little nugget for you, his last home run before that was September 4th. Went back and looked it up, which is also a 34 game home run drought.
Good Lord.
So for him to have done that, I'm hoping that spark plugs him. As you'll see moving forward into the Guardian series, they actually sat Masataka Yoshida out the past 2 games, even though he's facing righties. So there is going to be a topic of discussion on that. But part of me really wants to go Masa because I think there were a few timely hits by him, and the home run to kind of get him going was pretty big. But on the flip side, though, this is me kind of trying to talk myself into Casas. Casas's home runs were big home runs. What I mean by that, they were fucking daddy hacks. Right off the bat, he knew.
The whole park, both teams, umpires, people that don't even know baseball knew what happened.
Amen. The home run that, the red seat one and stuff like that in the finale. That home run was a changeup low. So imagine if he got a fastball, that thing might have traveled minimum 450. Minimum. Instead got an 84 mile hour changeup.
That we're off the bat. A changeup. 140 miles an hour. Insane.
You know what? I'm talking myself into Casas now. His home runs were pretty big fucking home runs. I needed that.
Is it a lock?
That's a lock. Let's go Tristan Casas. Everybody, Tristan Casas, our SHS MVP. 2 hits, but 2 home runs. What's up,
Biggin. From Biggin.
Big. Some notes from Sunday's games. Can't throw Tyler Big Muscles O'Neill a dick-high 89-mile-an-hour fastball, a.k.a. Tyler Anderson. Casas, don't let him get hot. Side note, thought he couldn't hit lefties, ?
Weren't both home runs off lefties?
That they were. Read that, nurse. And I got some interesting tidbits on him, let me tell you. We're going to dive into that a little bit later. I go ball 4, ball 8, Bob Ulicker from Major League, because I think who was pitching on Sunday? Was it Criswell? No. Bayo. Bayo was pitching, but it was Kenley. I think it might have been Kenley. I don't know. Somebody was in and they were walking. It wasn't pretty. I was not enjoying it. The fact that we have the team ERA we do is amazing. Finally saw my moment. Rafi and Zidane in the dugout next to each other talking, discussing hitting. And that's what we need. Be the number 1, be the QB1 of this team, be the face. But Rafi's arm was around Zidane because we were talking about this last episode where I was like, I need to see that moment happen for for it to come to fruition. And his arms around Zidane, and you see Zidane sitting there going like this with his hands, and like they're going with a little back and forth. And I was like, yes, we had just talked about that, and it fucking happened. So that was great.
Crystal ball. Max Crystal Ball.
Actually, it was you who said that, I believe. You're like, I think he
Oh.
does that in the dugout. You're like, because he's a little Raffy, and you're like, if you don't think his arms around him, like talking to him, and I was like, I got to see it though first for it to like be real, and it literally happened. It was a great moment. It was a very short, like maybe 5-second clip, but it was a great 5-second clip.
There's some more of that.
Oh, 100%. These next two are side by side. Pablo needs to swing with more conviction. Literally the next pitch. Pablo hit a piss missile double. I like when players listen to my thoughts.
Yes, indeed.
Yep. And then Kenley being Kenley. Kenley gives me heart palpitations every time he comes in. And those are my series notes.
Those were beautiful. Poetry.
But Tristan Cassis wins that. Boom. All right. So then we fast forward. Actually, let me see real quick. So one of the things I did want to talk about before we jump into the Guardian series is I know I had wanted to give Yoshida the SHS MVP, but I've seen this topic pop up on Twitter a lot. I'm curious your thoughts. I think you and I are going to probably arrive to the same conclusion, but I want people out there that may be having doubts right now to put those doubts potentially aside. But is it time to worry about Masataka Yoshida as a hitter and what he brings to this team?
I think if we're not going to get him consistent at bats, everyday playing time, I think that's where it's going to continue to what it looks like overall right now. If, on the other hand, he's getting consistent playing time and at-bat opportunities every day, I don't think that it will be sustainable. I think he will continue to progress forward, similar to what we saw before the Guardians series. He's a professional. He was one of the better hitters overseas in Japan during his time out there. We forget that last year he had his streaks of cold, but he also had his streaks of hot. And quite frankly, the streaks of hot outweighed the streaks of cold last year by a long shot. He will come around. He just needs consistent playing time and at-bats. And I wouldn't be surprised, as the weather continues to warm up here in New England, so will Masa.
That last statement right there, I definitely have to agree with you on that. I do think the weather probably plays a big part in this. But I feel like it's going to be real tough to find him consistent at bats right now, as much as he needs it to get going. Because if you talk to a lot of hitters in the major leagues, not that I talk to many of them, but I've heard conversations, listened to video and stuff like that. And a lot of them will say along the lines of like, one of the toughest things to do is to come off the bench and hit, because you're literally sitting there and you're cold the entire game. You get a heads up, maybe an inning before, that you might be going into pinch hit next inning if this happens. So next thing you know, you're rushing down to the tunnel, you're taking BP and stuff like that and trying to get loose and all that stuff. But then you get one shot to kind of prove your worth. And if you fail, like, you suck. You know what I mean? Like in your eyes and in the coach's eyes or manager's eyes. And so like you put so much pressure on yourself to try to succeed in that one at bat, because that's a one shot, one opportunity. Sees everything you ever wanted to. One moment, just let it slip. Anyways, that is the one opportunity that you get, and it's a very frustrating thing. So I feel for Masa in the sense of like not getting regular playing time is probably going to stunt his growth as a player. He's already short enough. We don't need to stunt that.
No.
But as a player, probably stunt his growth by not giving him consistent playing time. But we have such outfield depth. Rob Refsnyder just came back. Like, we now have Willier. We have Zidane. We have Duran. We have Duran.
Can't forget Duran.
Can't forget him. And Tyler O'Neill. Like, we have 5 outfielders on this team. And so if you're not going to be able to hit, which is the one thing you're better at than playing the actual outfield, it's going to be tough to find him consistent playing time.
So what do we do then? What are they going to do with him?
Well, considering that he's not played the past 2 games, even though they've faced righties, and went with Connor Wong and or Willie Abreu at DH. I don't know if this is like a trade waiting to happen type thing where like maybe we're eating 70% of that contract, 80% of that contract, and maybe get something back for him. I have no idea because your topic led me to a question, and I kind of thought about today. Do you think he feels alone on this team? Like, it must not be easy being Japanese, coming over from Japan, having these higher expectations considering the contract that he signed. And, like, it must be hard not being able to actually communicate with your teammates because I went to the game today, and I'm watching everybody warm up. They're playing catch, and Stain and Tristan are warming up together. You got Emmanuel and Pablo playing catch. They're talking to each other. They're talking to the trainers all in one area. And then over here, you have Masa by himself, just kind of running, like looking around like,
damn,
hey guys, like I'm over here. Like you could, like, it just feels like he doesn't feel part of it.
yeah.
And I don't know if that starts at the top with like Cora. I don't know if it's the players, if it's team dynamic, or if it's just that hard being a foreign baseball player coming over here, not being able to speak the language, and especially a very tough one because a lot of guys will pick up Spanish pretty quickly. I mean, you were considering you played at Fisher College and stuff like that. Like you probably picked up a few things in Spanish that playing with a ton of Latino players and stuff like that. Yeah. So like you pick up stuff like that, but Japanese, like that's not easy to pick up. So like, do you think he feels alone?
Yeah, I could see that. I've never really thought of that before until you just mentioned that. That's a really cool, interesting, and quite unique take in the best way possible. I could see that. And we've talked about before on this pod about him going to a team via trade that has Japanese or Asian roots on it, like Chicago or on LA.
Anaheim.
Yes. So I can see that happening, but yeah, he all he really has is one of the athletics trainers, I believe, is from Japan, and then his translator. That's pretty much all he has. That for people that speak his language, which can probably be very tough because none of those people are teammates.
And it's got to be tough speaking through a translator. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
because it's not as heartwarming. You know what I mean? Like you're not truly building that connection with somebody when you got to look at somebody, say something, and then they got to translate to them. Then they say it, then they translate it to you. Like that. Like that's. I can only imagine that is tough to have to deal with.
Without a doubt, I feel for him. Now that you mention that.
Yeah. So some numbers though to look at because right now it's trending towards like, well, what do we do with him? There's something clearly wrong with him. Is it time to worry about him? But I pulled some numbers and I started looking at stuff. So his last homer before the Angel series was 9-4, so 34-game home run drought.
Yep.
His average exit velo in 2023 was 89. So not that great, to be honest with you, but also not the worst. This year it's 88.2. So it's not like it's that much of a difference, but he is only in the 44th percentile, according to Baseball Savant. Max exit velo in 23 is 112. Max exit velo in 24, 105. Again, also for those, keep in mind, I do understand that 24 is a very small sample size. And that's also one of the points that I'm trying to bring up here too. Average launch angle. This one's intriguing to me. Again, understand it's a small sample size. Average launch angle in 23, 3.9, which is incredibly low. Incredibly low. A lot of guys say that the average launch angle you want to try to obtain. Now, granted, I don't look too much into this because launch angle is a very, very skewed stat because you could hit one ball at 50 degrees in the air and it could go for a double or something like that. and then you could hit another one at negative 150 and do that 100 times, and your average launch angle is going to come out to 0. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's going to be a very skewed stat in that sense. But this is intriguing to me. So in 23, it was 3.9, incredibly low. In 24, had a 9.6 degree launch angle. So he's starting to up a little bit more, which brings me to another point about him. I'm very certain I wrote this down. This year, he's pulling the ball more, 42% versus last year's 36%. However, he's got a 35% fly ball rate this year, with only where last year was 27%. So last year, his line drive percentage was up and his fly ball rate was lower. This year, his fly ball rate's up and his line drive percent is down, and his ground ball rate is just about even. And the issue that I have with him trying to hit the ball with the air in the air right now is, again, with an average exit velo of only 88.2, they're not, those are just pop-ups.
Yeah, it's not getting it done.
No. And I think what we saw last year out of him was when he starts not even just going oppo, but driving the ball the opposite way, is when he's at his best. When he keeps his barrel behind him and he connects with that thing and it goes to the left center gap, goes off the monster, whatever it is. Because then that leads into a little bit more confidence when he goes to pull the ball. And that's where we saw the best of Massa last year, was when he was driving the ball the opposite way and pulling the inside pitch. And this year, he's just not doing that.
The thing that's infuriating, man, is when he's not hitting the pop-ups, it's a rollover to the right side every single time.
I agree. Now, me as a guy who focused a lot on hitting back in my coaching days, like, it just looks like the kinetic chain, if you will, is not synced up right now. Like, his hips look like they're clearing way too early, and it's pulling his hips are pulling all his smaller muscles up here that are now beginning to pull a little bit early, and everything is just casting out. So his hands are now getting away from his body. He's not staying connected and nice and tight, and he's just losing a lot of power, I feel like, on a lot of his balls that he's hitting. And I think that is just leading to some of that too. Now, some of the other stats that I'm going to bring up too are going to lead to some of this discussion here. But barrel percentage last year was 6.6%. Wasn't terrible, wasn't the best. It was around league average. In 24, he's at 3.6%. He's in the 24th percentile. So last year he caught like 33 barrels. This year he's only caught 2. Now, again, understand it is a very small sample size. K percentage is almost identical. In 23 it was 14. In 24 it's 14.1. His walk percentage is actually up this year. Last year was 5.9%. Now it's up to 7%. Now, what's interesting is, this is the last tidbit about Masataka. After 1-0 counts, he has 31 at-bats. He has a 290 average. So keep in mind, 1-0 counts. 31 at-bats, 290 average, 9 hits, 3 of those extra base hits, 1 home run, 5 RBIs, 4 walks, 5 Ks. He's got a 389 OBP and a 452 slugging, which is just about league average. So when he's ahead in the count, he typically hits like Masata, the Masa that we know and love. After 0-1 counts, so anytime he gets behind early, 32 at-bats, so almost identical to his other one. 156 average with 5 hits, 0 home runs, 3 RBIs, 1 walk, 5 Ks, 182 OBP, and a 156 slugging. So once he gets behind in the count, he is struggling hard. And I would almost like to see him just start taking a more aggressive approach at the plate, seeing something like that.
I would like to see that too. If he's gonna want to get back into the lineup, would you assume it would be with pinch hit opportunities right now, based on the fact that he hasn't played the last 2 games, or is he going to get a start in the next couple of days?
I think he'll definitely get a start in the next couple of days, considering he hasn't. And this is a whole nother conversation, but like, if we start moving Sedane to shortstop, which is the fucking move that we need to do, and move Jaron to center, and either probably O'Neill in left once he comes back from the injury, but you put Rob in left for right now and Will you're in right. And then boom, now you have an open DH spot right there.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
I do think that there's going to be room for at-bats and stuff like that. Part of me thinks that Cora's patience is running thin right now with a lot of stuff on this team. And part of it is Yoshida in a sense. Obviously, the defense, the base running blunders that we've had, like, it's been terrible. So I think some of that's being taken out on Masa because he's not performing. Because especially, too, like his one job right now is to hit. And he's not doing that. So if you're not doing your job,
someone else will.
They're going to find somebody else who can.
Yeah.
Like if he was playing left field and playing, good, like Sedane's not hitting right now, but he's playing elite level defense in the outfield. So it's okay that he's not hitting because he's at least providing something. Where Masa, if you're not hitting, you're not providing anything.
Someone else.
So my final consensus on this is it may sound all bad right now, but I don't think it's time to worry about him. It's a 162 game season. Okay. He started off cold last year at a 167 average in April last year. So as of right now, people that think that he stinks, let's trade him, whatever it is, take the foot off the gas pedal. Let's hit the brake a little bit. Okay. I'm not saying slam the brakes, just hit the brakes a little bit. Let's let this play out. Let's let this develop. Let's let him get maybe a couple hundred ABs under his belt, and let's see how that plays out. If he's still performing at this level, then obviously there's a huge cause for concern. Talk for trade, whatever it is. Because honestly, too, if you trade him right now, there's probably zero value for him.
Yeah, you're not going to get much with him unless if you're eating the majority, if not all, of that contract in a similar fashion as Kenley's situation.
Exactly. But yeah, that's your Masa talk for the day. Now let's jump into the. Gotta love it. I think it needed to happen because again, he was getting a lot of. I was seeing it all over Twitter. I was seeing it all over the media and stuff like that. Like it's time to worry about him and him not hitting and blah blah blah. And yes, to a certain extent there is, but again, it's a long season. Everything that we're looking at is small sample size. We've seen guys that Tristan Cassis did not have a good first half last year.
Correct.
And then turned it around and played at a borderline MVP caliber level.
Correct.
I'm not saying Masa's that, but what my point is that let's just take a wait and see approach with this. We're not going anywhere. We're not fighting for our first place spot right now. Let's just see what happens.
12% of the way through the year.
Bingo. All right. Guardian series. You know what? No, I'll ask that at the end here. Guardian series. First game was Monday, Marathon Monday, 4:15. 11 a.m. game. 6-0 loss. 1 error committed by the defense. 3 hits, and it was all top of the order. Tyler O'Neill. It was all the top of the order that got the 3 hits. But there was the Tyler O'Neill and Rafi collision. And you and I were texting. We were like, fuck, no. That was a scary moment.
Yeah, my heart stopped about 30 seconds long there. I really thought one of them was severely hurt, much more so than a 7-day IL stint for how long they were on the ground. I thought that was going to be a much more substantial injury, like a severe concussion or something worse than that.
Who'd you think was more injured, O'Neill or Devers?
Initially, I thought Rafi was, but it ended up being more so Tyler O'Neill right now in this situation.
I agree with that because, like, watching the play unfold and what happened and how Devers reacted afterwards, like, he was just laying on the ground, face into the ground, arms over the head and something. Like, I thought, like, maybe it was a shoulder.
Yeah.
Because especially it's his left shoulder that's bugging him, and, you go up with the left shoulder to make that catch. But as you watch the slower replay, they hit heads, and Rafi's head hit Tyler O'Neill's sunglasses, which probably caused the bleeding and all that stuff. Yeah. But no, that was a scary thing. Like, let alone one of them going down, can't have both of them going down.
Bro, Rafi, stay in your lane. You're not the defender. Uh, Tyler O'Neill's the one with the gold glove in his freaking trophy case. You're almost halfway out there in left field, backpedaling. Like, dude, here I'm calling you off. Get out of the way.
And on top of it, too, I think it was Uke who was calling this one with OB. And he literally sat there and he pointed out, you have Devers, O'Neill, and Sedane. Probably, arguably, the three most important people to that team. And Sedane, just because of his defensibility, that were all in that, like, Bermuda Triangle of where that ball landed.
Yeah.
Like, if all three of them collided, I probably would have just shut the season, cancel the season.
And finish it up. That's when I would say, all right, pull up Portland. Pull up the dog.
Yes. Speaking of which, I thought you were going to be rocking the Portland Sea Dogs hat for the pod.
I wasn't feeling it today. I still got to do some work on it. It's still a little new. You know how anal I am about my hats. They got to be.
You do love anal, so.
Yep. Indeed. But they need to be a certain shape. They need to have a certain feel, and it simply doesn't have it yet. But in due time, it will.
Absolutely. The anal king needs a certain shape and feel to it before he can actually do it.
Yes, it's a little too loose right now. The perimeter, the rim, if you must, needs to be a little more snug.
And you want to make sure the head fits the rim.
Correct.
Before actually,
Correct. And you got to take into account, like, if there's a little excess of hair here, that rim will be tighter versus when it's a little more clean shaven. It might go like hot dog down a hallway and slide all over the place. I don't know, but we'll figure it out day by day, brick by brick, hole by hole.
Hopefully we do. Cutter, 5.2 innings pitched, 2 hits, 0 runs, 6 Ks, 0 walks. Need to see more of this version of Cutter. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. He's been good all year, but there are times where obviously pitching deep into games is an issue for him. Walking guys is an issue for him, but being able to see this version out of him, allowing 2 hits, 6 Ks, 0 walks, that's the Cutter that I need. And especially against a team that does not strike out much.
Yeah, that cannot go unnoticed. The walk total, too, I absolutely love. He was getting a lot of crap for the amount of walks he's been giving up, 4 or 3.5 a game. And he kind of just shuts everybody the hell up real quick, us included, because we were talking about this last episode. That's something that he needs to adjust a little bit in order to get to that 6+ inning mark. And that's kind of exactly what he did. Unfortunately, he didn't go longer than 6 innings with 0 walks, but if he continues to do that, it wouldn't surprise me if he's going more than 6 innings, 6 2/3, 7, touching the 8th maybe once or 2 times this year. Who knows?
A couple 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, I know. 2 or 3, maybe 4, but he's figuring it out start by start, and he's starting to create a little upward trend every single time he's going out. It's really cool to see.
It is. I'm hoping we can take that next step forward, which to me would just be pitching into the 6th, let alone, I mean, again, he went 5 2/3 here, so obviously he got into the 6th inning, but like finishing a 6th inning, getting into the 7th, that would be, I think, that next step for him. Ideal. And probably the biggest step for him.
Ideal. Would be a big support to the
last note that I made, bullpen stunk, but offense was also a no-show.
Yep. So if they're both going to suck, fine. I'm good with that in the same day.
Tuesday, wild game. 10-7 loss. 1 error made by the defense. Valdez, Cassis, and Wong with a home run. And Wong's was a big one.
Wong's was a dog.
Wong's was an absolute dog. 11 hits for the offense. Whitlock, 4 innings pitched, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 1 K. And this goes back to one of the conversations that we had last episode of need to see more strikeouts out of a guy like this. I'm okay with contact pitchers, don't get me wrong. Now, granted, as we found out later, he was definitely pitching through something because he's been put on the 15-day IL with a calf stuff, which we saw in his last start against Baltimore. He was grabbing at his calf a little bit there.
Correct.
So 15-day IL with him. So he's clearly pitching through something there, but still would especially with the shape of our defense right now, would love to see a few more Ks out of him. And especially with the stuff that he has. He's too good. Like in 2021, when he came up, or we got him from the Yankees for free, he was filthy, elite reliever, was striking guys out left and right. And now I feel like we're struggling with that put-out pitch.
Absolutely. I'm going to blame the injury when he comes back healthy. Hopefully he's got that swing and miss with 2 strikes because he needs it.
I agree. Joelle stunk. Jansen stunk. Wink stunk. For those who don't know who Wink is, that's Winkowski. And that leads us to our 10-7 loss on that day. Wednesday, 4/17 yesterday, because we were recording today live on 4/18, was a 2-0 win. Ironically enough, guess how many errors there were?
I'm going to go with 0.
0 is correct. That is the absolute correct answer. The less errors you have, the more games you win.
Would you look at that?
Just look at it. Oh,
look at
my God. Just look at it. 0 errors. Look at it.
Right.
Do you know what that's from?
Yes, that's the some weird dude is
Ed Bassmaster.
Yeah, he's
Ed Bassmaster.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh my God, just look at it. Would you just look at it?" Anyways, 0 errors, 2-0 win. This game was electric. So let me just go down the line real quick. Houck, complete game shut piece, 9 innings pitched, 9 Ks, 3 hits, and 0 walks.
Oh,
yeah, talk dirty to me.
you got that on my eye, man.
Just a little bit there. I think I got some in my hair to slick it back to.
Oh. You got Wally
But,
on, man. Don't hit him.
No, it went up and over Wally. We're good.
Oh, thank God. Oh, that's scary.
It's very scary. He put the team on his back this game, and honestly, we need more of that. I'm not saying go out and throw a complete game shut piece every game. Would that be electric and absolutely warranted and wanted? Yeah. Hell yeah. This thing is really aggravating me here.
Okay.
We balked in a run, and then a home run by Wong was our pretty much only offense. The time of the game, 1 hour and 49 minutes.
That's some new school baseball right there. Rob
That
Manfred is pumped.
Some new school baseball. I will tell you right now, so just some Max mashup notes. Houck is throwing frisbees. Wong ding dongs with a Z for days with a Z. Defense doesn't look terrible. And then I also said we are mediocre. Because the fact that in a complete game shutout, we only put up 2 runs. One of them was a home run and one was a balk.
Brutal. But
I then noted that
to win those games, and we did.
Yes, good teams do win those games, and we did, but mediocre team, I'd say. Houck is just so much more confident with both his stuff and his presence, and this start was the show of it, of what he's truly capable of. And again, against a team that doesn't strike out much, he struck out 1 per 9, which impressive enough against a team that doesn't strike out much.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of it, just after every out that was made, I didn't see a shred of here's a complete game coming. I'm pitching in the 8th, I'm pitching into the 9th. I'm going 3 times through the lineup. You didn't see an ounce of that. He just sat there and was just chewing his gum. And he was just
next pitch.
And then whipping frisbees in there. And then after every out, he was catching it, doing a little jersey tug, getting back on the mound and dominating. The only time I probably saw a little shakiness from him, I think, was in the 9th inning.
Yeah.
When it probably got to him a little bit that all right, I could go a complete game here. And you could tell he was just jacked up a little bit more. I wouldn't say it was nerves, nothing like that, but he just seemed a little bit more jacked up.
100%. I agree with you there. The only inning that Tanner Houck did not throw more than 66% of his first pitches for strikes was in that last inning.
Interesting.
One of those batters, he got ahead on. The other ones, no. That whole entire game, his first pitch strikes, he was 20 for 29 on. That, my friend, is a 69% first pitch strike percentage. Hey now.
Count it.
How are ya? If overall, though, strike percentage was 69 for 94, that is 73.4. That is hands down the most efficient Tanner Houck has been this year and in his career. Shout out to Andrew Bailey. He continues to cook in that laboratory.
That he does, and there's going to be, as you know, an interesting topic that I'm going to bring up about him. So that brings us to that game. That was a great game. It was the game that, as Sox fans, for the season that we've been dealt so far with the injuries, with the pain, we needed that little cookie right there.
Big time.
Needed that.
Big time.
And that will probably be the biggest, if not the biggest bright spot that we look back on this year.
I hope you're wrong, but the
I do too.
realisticness in me needs to say I agree.
Yep. So that leads us to today, Thursday, 4/18 today.
Woo.
Thursday. 5-4 loss. 2 errors, my friend.
Wow.
Weird. One of them, because I was there, watched it live, so I know what I'm talking about, directly led to a run scoring. And if that doesn't happen, now you're looking at a 4-4 game. Obviously, I do understand, too, that if that doesn't happen, a play is made, other events happen. But 2 errors, okay?
Yeah.
And it happened to be a short hop hit to David Hamilton, who decided to go backhand on it. And instead of working through the ball and creating a short hop on it and working through it and his momentum towards first base, he stayed back on it, making it a long hop, and then tried to come through it like a short hop without actually going through it. And it just got it off the heel of his glove, bobbled the ball, runner gets to first base. Next thing you know, pass ball, he's at second, and then there's a hit and the run scores.
Great job, David.
Yep. Some notes on there that I had wrote was not a ton of hard contact on our side of things, 6 hits, and Duran was really the only bright spot. And that, my friends, is Jarren Duran. I literally have to point out that he probably has one of the most electric walk-up songs in the league right now, because when you're at the stadium and you just hear it, just, you feel it in your fucking soul and your bones.
Leading off too, it's like, oh shit, it's go time.
It should set the tone. It should.
And it does. Usually.
Bernardino looked great as the opener. 2 innings pitched through 25, less than 25 pitches. Lots of weak contact, quick first inning and stuff like that. Looked great. Cooper Criswell was the second pitcher. Only ended up going 2.1 innings. He allowed 4 runs, 1 earned, 1 walk, 0 Ks, 3 hits. Was let down by his defense. And to be like 100% honest, but at the same time too, wasn't really that effective out there as well. It wasn't great. And then that caused Joe Jakes to come in, and then Justin Slayton, who has been filthy this year.
Oh, I concur. I completely agree. He is holding a 0.72 ERA out of the pen through 7 appearances. A point, yes, a .41 whip. A point,
Wow.
yes, a .103 batting average against. This is in 12.1 innings pitched, 9 Ks, 3 holds, and 1 save.
I love that. I'm not going to lie to you. I think as this season progresses, you are looking at the future closer of the Red Sox right here for quite a few years. Being a Rule 5 draft pick and stuff like that, I think this is like the next Garrett Whitlock.
Yeah.
That hopefully they keep in the pen. They don't try to turn into a starter, nothing like that. I'm okay with him being a bulk guy, not a bulk guy, but like maybe a 2 to 3 inning guy out of the bullpen here. But like I think you're going to start seeing him go into some high leverage situations as the year goes along, and maybe Kenley starts getting replaced here a little bit in certain situations. I have no idea, but also to the same note, we've talked about this before, but you don't want to throw the guy to the fire in his first ever in his first 12 innings ever pitched in the MLB. Now, do I think he could probably handle it? Sure. I think he's got the stuff, he's got the mentality and stuff like that, but don't force it right now. But I can see that happening.
Great 7-inning guy.
Yep. Great 7-inning guy.
Back in Martin and Jansen when they're at their best. That's a pretty damn good 3-headed monster.
Oh, 3-headed if I've ever seen one. And that kind of recaps the series. Obviously, we dropped 3 out of 4 against the Guardians. And it wasn't pretty. A lot of like the games that we lost was defensive errors, and the games that we won, no errors were committed. And there's a big trend here with the Sox. They don't commit errors. They tend to win baseball games. They commit errors. We tend to lose baseball games. We're giving the team extra outs. It's fucking weird how that happens.
That is just absolutely mind-blowing to me, Mac. I got a little nugget for you regarding that.
Hit me.
Do you know what the record for the Red Sox is when they make at least one error in the game?
I think I do. The record right now is 9-10, correct? Or 9-9?
The 500 Ball Club.
So 9-9. They are 1-8. Is my guess.
They're 2-9 when they make an error in a baseball game. They are 10-10, by the way. Then
10-10. Okay.
When they don't make an error in a game, they are 8-1.
I thought they were 8-2. That was going to be my guess.
8-1.
That right there says it all.
Would make sense.
And there's going to be quite a like we're going to talk about the defense a little bit later in this episode, even though we're already an hour into this. Guarantee we go 2 hours because we're going to get stuck on some topics here. But yeah, the defense, it hurts me in a way I never thought I could be hurt, especially by a Major League Baseball team.
It's like watching a group of 11 or 12-year-olds playing baseball for the first time as a group at times. From just simple fielding plays to routine throws. It just gets crazier and crazier, and they find new ways. My favorite one so far was when David Hamilton forgot that he needed to step on the base at second in order to record an out.
Oh, that particular time, because there's been plenty of times where he's forgot to step on bases.
Because then he forgot to remind himself that he messed up that the first time, and then does it again. Like, I don't understand why we haven't gone to Rafi yet. Little Rafi, not big Rafi at short. Like, dude, like, how long are we going to watch this bucket of vomit in the 6 hole? How long are we going to watch Pablo Reyes shit down his leg game after game out there? Thanks for everything last year. Appreciate your walk-off. You were a hot hitter. You came on the scene pretty quick after getting popped for the PED stuff and getting released. Good for you with your minor league contract. Thank you. But Jesus Christ almighty, make a play. Make a routine play. Not the ones that are just going to make me drop my jaw to the floor. Just make a throw to Tristan Casas that is not going to be an errored throw. Just one. That's all I'm asking. And David Hamilton, I'm not going to just go on a tangent with you right now. Just simply step on second base when you need to. Just remember to do that, please, and thank you.
Trotta's Tangents, everybody, brought
I'm
to you
sorry.
by Bullet Slider
I'm sorry.
Whiskey.
I'm sorry. I've been trying so hard to refrain.
It's frustrating. I texted this to you today. I'm done with the excuses for him. I'm done with like letting the kids play to a certain extent because right now they are playing like kids.
What's the
We are
conversation in the clubhouse with it? Is it like, oh, it's okay, David. Don't worry about it.
That's what I want to know.
Don't worry about it. Or is it like, motherfucker, make the play? Or if it's
Make
not
the play,
coming from Cora,
or-
is a player doing that shit? But like then there's no one there that can do that besides like Tyler O'Neill, but he's there like with a cut up eye, sitting there on the IL there on the freaking bench on the fence.
I would love to see players start holding players accountable and not in a dickhead way or anything like that, but like, hey man, we got to start making those plays. You're in the major leagues now, buddy. Like, this is Major League Baseball. This is routine ground balls that we are fucking up. Figure it the fuck out, or else there's not a place for you here. Like, we're trying to do something here.
Yeah.
And if you're not going to be part of the solution, then you're part of the problem.
I just truly do not. It's been over a week now that we've had to like watch this product there in the 6-hole, and the fact that it's gone this long is just crazy to me because it's the same crap that is compounding and compounding over and over again.
And I'll tell you right now, I think I've been probably preaching it since the Trevor Story injury, which was episode 1. The move is to put Rafi as short. I understand you signed him to be a center fielder, and he's made great plays out there, and our outfield defense is better for it. But right now, our biggest problem is our infield defense. Our infield defense is better with Rafaela as short. And then you put Devers at third once he's healthy, if he's ever going to be healthy this year, or whoever fucking schmuck we find, whether it's Bobby, I don't care. You put him at third base, you let Rafi take over and do his thing, and then next thing you know, we're winning ball games, Tessie's playing, and we are going fucking bananas.
Absolutely. What would you rate little Rafi's defensive grade from a 1 to 10 scale in center field?
14. He had a couple of those mishap plays. I'll give him a 12 out of 10.
Expecting he's not going to do as well as a 12 out of 10 at shortstop.
Yep.
Expect like an 8 out of 10. You know?
I was going to give him a 9 out of 10.
So,
actually.
like,
compared to what we've had, a 9 out of 10.
A -7. I would take the 8 or 9. I'm being conservative saying like the 8. I'll even say a 7. I'll take the 7 from him there. That's routine plays and routine throws being made. And the occasional flash. That also putting him there opens up putting Massa back in the lineup consistently like we were talking about not too long ago on this episode. To get him every day at bats so he can start getting right. And that's right when the warm weather is going to start popping up for him too. Then we get Rob Refsnyder back as well, which we can platoon out there with the other guys, with Tyler O'Neill once he comes back, Willier, Jaron. But it sounds like Lil Rafi needs to do this, and it needs to start in this Pittsburgh series at Pittsburgh.
I don't think it's extremely hard for him to be able to go from center field to shortstop. I think too many people are complaining about like, well, he's so good in center, then you're going to put him in short, like that's going to mess up his development or whatever it is.
He's so young. No, he's too young to do that. No, you can't do that. Dude, ballers ball out. It don't matter how young they are. It don't matter how old they are. If he's an athlete, he's going to do it.
Mookie Betts played right field, then went to second base last year, is now the starting shortstop for the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Wow.
So I'm telling you right now, I have no doubt a young kid as athletic as him is going to fucking gnaw at the opportunity to be able to stay in the lineup and play every single day.
Without a doubt in my mind, man.
And honestly, what he does, like I was that same player in high school. I fucking sucked at hitting, but let me tell you, I'd go out there at first base and I would pick it left and right and I'd make plays all the time. And that's one of the main reasons why I was out there, was literally just to play defense because I was that good over there. And I think Rafi's that same way. I think he loves the fact that he's good at defense. Obviously, he wishes that the bat was coming around a little bit more and whatnot. I know we all do, but I think he takes absolute pride in his defense. And so no matter where you put him, he's going to shine. Put the fucker at first base and he's going to shine.
He seems like a guy that likes the light on him too, and the light will be definitely bright if he moves to the 6th hole here.
Amen. Well, that kind of covers one of the topics that I did want to talk about. But that does bring us to our next topic.
Holy shit, I forgot about that.
Ladies and gentlemen, the second annual Trotta's Top Pitching Performance of the Week, aka the TTPP, brought to you by Bullet Slider Whiskey.
Bullet Slider Whiskey. Precision craftsmanship, smoothly savored and violently delivered. This time around, your TTPP is none other than Yeah, baby. Oh, no. That barrel, little mustache-looking motherfucker absolutely dealt the other night against the Guardians. With that complete game shutout right there. Matt already gave you the time check. What was that again there, young feller?
An hour and 49 minutes.
Thank you, young blood. Thank you. He savored us so we could get to the bar as fast as humanly possible to get some celebration beverages in us with some Bullet Slider whiskeys lined up all the way across the bar. Tanner Houck is the first Sox pitcher to throw a shutout in less than 100 pitches in over a decade since Clay freaking Buchholz did it.
Woo!
It is absolutely incredible what he is doing. And that is why, despite that Angel start with 12 hits, he is your SoxHub TTPP of the week. Brought to you by Bullet Slider Whiskey. Ow.
I was just about to say that was impressive going that long. Let me give you a little bit of a break here, maybe talk a little bit. I don't need it.
I need it.
That was impressive, but hands down, without a doubt, our first ever 2-time winner of the TTPP for the first 2 TTPPs.
2 in a row.
That's impressive. And honestly, it obviously was going to go to him after that performance, but truthfully, like I was texting you and I was jacked up through the roof. I had said, we had talked about this team not having an identity, not having a leader. That guy, if you ask me, he's the most seniored member or tenured player on this team at this point outside of Rafael Devers, but it's been known, Rafi's made it known that he does not want to be the number one on this team. He does not want to talk to the media. He doesn't want to deal with all that stuff. I think Tanner's that guy that's got a little fuck you in him when he's on a baseball field. And I think that I know he didn't do this, but I got vibes from 2018 when Chris Sale was in the dugout against the Dodgers, and who was it? Ross Stripling pitching or whatever. And he's like, he's got 2 fucking pitches. That's fucking it. Let's fucking go out there and fucking hit him. 2 fucking pitches. That is the type of energy I need. And I do think that's the type of energy Houck can bring. I need that guy to fucking step up right now. And I think that will happen if he continues with this type of performance. Obviously, again, we're not expecting 9 shutout innings out of him every fucking time. But I think he has the confidence now to take the mound and be like, I just went 3 times to a fucking order and went 9 innings pitch. I can fucking do it again. And I think he has the confidence now to step on that mound and think that he can do it every time. And I'm okay with that.
Absolutely. And I think within the shadows here, when you zoom in with that lens, that he's already being that leader. Mac, who's his best pal on this Red Sox team?
Garrett Whitlock.
Who was announced that he had to go on the IL when he demanded that he did not, but it ended up becoming out of Garrett Whitlock's hands. Garrett Whitlock. So I think Tanner was just as bullshit about that as Garrett Whitlock, because they're seeing like, damn, Garrett's saying he's fine to throw. We want to fucking win. We see the opportunity we have in front of us right now with how well we're playing as a pitching staff. That decision shows them in their eyes right now, with them being competitive dudes, we don't want to win. Tanner's like, oh yeah, you're going to fuck with my homie? Oh yeah, you're going to fuck with my team season? How about that? Here's a complete game shutout in an hour and 48 minutes with 9 Ks and 94 pitches.
To be honest with you, I was just afraid that he was going to step on his dick walking off the mound there, because it was just dragging all over the fucking field.
Randy from South Park with the freaking nutsack in the barrel all day long. But my favorite part about this is he's not like going Nick Pivetta mode out there during this. He is the most poised, like, collective individual, and that, I think, is like without a doubt what we need as a group, is like that calm level individual no matter what the scenario, especially like right now with how catastrophic it is when we make one minor mistake or one error in a game. It compounds. If you can have that voice of reason in that dugout that people can turn to, that prove that they can stay level-headed throughout competition no matter what, like Tanner has in the past, that can change some things and give some guys that peace of mind and that reset that this team desperately needs.
I have no words. Oh, it was just beautifully well said. I couldn't agree more. I would not be shocked. I mean, Pavetta's on the IL right now, and Whitlock is too, obviously. Like, things are in shambles. So there's not a very high bar here, but like, if he takes the ball and is like, look at me, I am the captain now. And he's like, this is my fucking rotation. Like, and he just goes out there and he starts pitching like a number one. A number one on the Sox, that is. Not a true ace level pitcher like Garrett Cole or anything like that. But he goes out and he just starts blowing projections out of the water and what everybody thought of him, with a little chip on his shoulder, and is like, I'm the fucking man now.
Absolutely. Dude, the way he's been pitching is just insane. The attack of the zone stuff is just remarkable. The near 74% strikes this last outing, the near 70% first pitch strikes, and the 74% strikes. It's just remarkable. What this pitching staff is doing is also remarkable. As much as I would love to give the TTPP of the week to the whole entire starting rotation, we do not hand out participation trophies like many people do in this world here. That's not the type of podcast we are. We're not a participation podcast.
Nope.
No. But dude, we're leading the MLB with a 1.85 staff ERA for the pitching staff. That's not just the starters. The last time the Sox had 2 starting pitchers with a sub 1.5 ERA, we won the World Series in 2018 with that, and that was with Slick Rick Porcello and Chris Sale. Tanner Houck is currently at a 1.35 and Cutter's at a 0.42. Now wait, close your eyes and close Wally's eyes real quick too while you're at it. Let me compose. All right. Imagine if Pivetta was healthy right now, man. He was on a ridiculous tear before starting before he landed on the IL. 0.82 ERA in 2 starts, 11 innings pitched. That's 3 guys below 1.5, bro. Imagine now Whitlock was fully healthy right now, and he didn't deal with that calf crap. Because since that calf crap, that's when he's been giving up the freaking crooked number earned runs, 2 and 3. He's at a 1.96 in 4 starts with 18.1 innings pitched. Bro, are you kidding me? That is electric. That is 4 motherfuckers picking up the ball 4 out of 5 games, giving you sub 2 ERA baseball. That is the most incredible run I have seen in my own memory personally. I don't know about you. I'm trying to recall a pitching staff that like a starting rotation staff that was this efficient through like this sort of stretch of like 20 games as a group. Like this insane.
Can I open my eyes now?
Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I just want to make sure. Yep. All right. Whew.
All right. Now, did you imagine all of them healthy and doing that at the same time?
I did, but the one twist I put on it is I imagined also a good defense behind them, and that's where I was like, "Holy shit!"
One more twist.
We might be a fucking wild card team.
We did not mention our alleged ace, Brian Bayo. Respectable 3.94 ERA here. Yeah, we'll take that. But, like, that gets completely overshadowed by this video game, MLB The Show-like numbers.
I'm so okay with that, though, because I think it takes pressure off Bayo. Bayo signed the deal and stuff like that. Like, and I think people have very high expectations of him being the next Pedro Martinez and stuff like that. Where, again, I think you have guys outperforming right now. You have, again, imagine that rotation, like you said. It takes pressure off Bayo to have to go out there and do what they're doing, if anything.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's good. It lets his 3.49 ERA, which, again, very solid numbers there, just completely kind of go, like, by the wayside. People don't even notice that, I feel like, and I think that's huge. By the way, with my eyes closed there, I feel like if Brian Bayo doesn't turn into the Pedro Martinez that people think he's going to turn into, I think an excellent comp for him would be a Marcus Stroman.
I love that comp. I can see that as well with the type of movement he gets on his pitches, and the fire he shows when he's out there, the attitude, if you will, the emotion that he pitches with.
Can you do me a favor? Can you do a Stroman and Bayo overlay of each other?
Absolutely. Let me write that down, McDaniels.
I would love that, just because I feel I want to see what their move, because like they move pretty similar, and their pitches I think move similar. They have the same type of physique and stuff like that. I could picture him being like, again, if he doesn't turn into the pitcher people think and stuff like that, like him being like a
that's legit 3-4.
Yeah, like a low to mid threes ERA pitcher that is a ground ball pitcher and stuff like that, which is exactly what Stroman's profile is.
That's all we need, man. All we need.
So speaking of Houck, I had talked about how like I would love for him to have more voice. We've talked about this as well. I need Casas to start having more of a voice. I think he's proven to be that donkey of the team that hits the fucking, like Tyler O'Neill, yes, but like Tyler O'Neill, I don't think he's going to be here forever. Whether he's traded at the deadline, he's here for the rest of the year, he's here for one more year, whatever it may be. I don't think he's here forever. I think Casas is here for a long time. I need him to start making this his team, because then when those younger guys come up, I think they're going to start looking to him and whatnot, because it's going to be a different era of baseball, as we have talked about, where he's painting his fingernails, he's sunbathing in right field, he's doing sexual moves as he's stretching and stuff like that. He's doing weird shit. And these young guys, I think, are going to come up and see that and be like, cool, I can kind of be myself up here. And like, this is a guy I can go to talk to about that. But I need him to, you mentioned it, hold players accountable. I need him to have a little bit more fire underneath his ass. And because like one of the issues that I have with this team, which is not typically an issue you have with a team, is everybody is way too fucking calm for how bad we've been. Like, you watch an error get made, or like Casas strike out, and it's just a, like, instead of like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I want to see somebody get tossed at a fucking umpire for chirping an umpire for fucking a terrible call or whatever it is. I would love to see Casas get tossed a game. Like, just like something like that to get the boys going. I have no idea, but he needs to be that. Him and Houck, though, those are my two guys that I'm pegging right now, need to take a leadership role in that clubhouse.
Yeah, I like the Cassis take. I also think once Tyler O'Neill gets healthy, that is a very similar case as, well, not as old, but similar case as like Justin Turner signing last year and what he emerged to be. It took longer than 20 games for Justin Turner to become that guy. I would say right around like the 1/3 mark is when you started seeing glimmers of that, headed towards the All-Star break. I think that Tyler O'Neill has that opportunity to be able to do this because it is a well-rounded player. He can steal bases, so he can help you on the base paths and better educate these young guys like Wilyer Abreu, who messed up today and got thrown out at third on a ground ball to third base that was in front of him. He can help out defensively, calm the guys out there through struggles and hardships of injuries and not let them compound, being a Gold Glove outfielder with the St. Louis Cardinals. And then most importantly here, with the amount of youth that we have in our lineup, I think that he can help out Tristan Casas there offensively, specifically with the approach, mental discipline, and overall dog in you in order to compete at the best level possible at this MLB level. Because he, out of all of them probably, has had the most experience and most time up here.
I agree wholeheartedly with you. I would love for him to take that Justin Turner place of that veteran piece. Again, he's still on the younger side of things in terms of like baseball years, or I guess just age wise, but like baseball years, he's probably like he's considered a veteran, if you will, or getting to veteran status at least. And I truly agree. I would love to see him take a Cassis under his wing.
Casas can't necessarily command and lead and like call people out for defense. He's not that dog guy yet there. He can't do that with base running. For the mental side, probably preparation and offensive, absolutely. Tanner Houck can't really help offensively. More mental approach with who the hitter is, like you were saying. Like, this guy has 2 fucking pitches. Go bang him. You're going to guess right there.
I just want a little fire lit under the asses.
Yeah, that's all we need. And I think that you have a nice little even porridge of each category we've been going over with those 3 guys, with Tyler O'Neill going and sprinkling in each and every one other than the pitching, Tanner Houck, and Cassis.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Pray to God everybody stays healthy.
Just pray. That's all you can do at this point is moment of silence.
Our Father.
So we've talked a lot about pitching on this specific episode. And again, we're closing in on an hour and a half with a couple topics left. And maybe we'll save 1 or 2 of these. We'll save one of these for a future episode. But one of the things that I've started to notice, and it's a take, is Andrew Bailey too good at his job? And what I mean by that is Andrew Bailey going to start, again, look what he's done with this pitching staff. We have the lowest ERA in the MLB right now with, in theory, no-name people. Like, our biggest name was Lucas Giolito and out for the season. Now, obviously, we have Bayo, but he's still young. We had Whitlock, who, injuries and stuff like this. He wasn't that effective as a starter. We had Houck, couldn't go 3 times through the order. Cutter couldn't throw more than, certain amount of pitches. He couldn't get to the 4th inning, 5th inning, whatever it may be. And now Andrew Bailey's come in here and he's turned these nobodies, no names, small names, whatever it is, into a legit fucking pitching staff. That right now is holding this team together by an absolute thread, because they are going out there and shoving it down the fucking throats of every team that they play. They are throttling teams on the mound. And so now, my point to all this is you have Bailey developing these guys, changing game plans, all this stuff. My big fear is now we are never going to invest in a big name pitcher while Andrew Bailey's here, because of the simple fact that you have Breslow, who's a pitching mind. You have Andrew Bailey, who's a pitching mind. Keep in mind, we've mentioned it before. They hired the founder and CEO of Driveline Baseball in Kyle Bodie. And now the 3 of those minds are known for picking and identifying guys that nobody thought was good and turning them into something. Justin Slayton, being one of them. He was a guy that literally they had looked at. He was a Rule 5 draft pick. The Rangers didn't even want him. The Red Sox wanted him that bad that the Mets drafted him. They traded immediately for Justin Slayton. Okay.
Right.
You have guys like Greg Weiser, who the Yankees didn't even want. He was literally just a throw-in fucking piece for the Alex Verdugo trade. And look what Greg Weiser has done for us this year. And my whole point to all this is, again, is Andrew Bailey too good that we're not going to invest in big name starting pitchers and we are just going to go find no name people and create them into names? Or on the flip side, is this going to attract larger name pitchers to our team because they want to work with Andrew Bailey? Like, say, I know Corbin Burns is probably going to be re-signed by the Baltimore Orioles, but he's a free agent next year, right? Maybe he looks at fucking Andrew Bailey and he's like, I'm already pretty damn good. I wonder what this fucker could do for me and take me to that next level. So I'm curious, like, do you have a take on this of, is this an issue that Andrew Bailey's actually doing as well as he is with his pitching staff? Or obviously it's a good thing, but like, could you see it go the opposite way?
It's an issue. It's a good issue. I think that it's a little at 20 games for the sample size. We got to pump the brakes just a tad, not slam on them from going 100 miles an hour to 0 here. Like, get to the speed limit on the highway, 80 miles an hour here. All right.
What highway you fucking drive?
We're in Texas, baby. Come on. Right where the development factory of Bullslaughter Whiskey lives. Right there. Right in the freaking Waco, Texas. Right there.
Cousins sleep with cousins.
Amen, brother. Amen. But yeah, they don't really pay for that anyway. I mean, 18 mil to Giolito, right? First year. So other than that, what have we been doing the last 2-3 years for pitchers? So,
but I know that's last 2-3 years. But like, we've signed David Price, 200 at the time, the highest paid pitcher, and so we went out and traded for Chris Sale. We've made those moves before for Pedro Martinez being one of them. You know what I mean? Like, for those big name pitchers, Josh Beckett. Like, I fear that if this continues, that we are not going to do that anymore. And we're just going to be like, oh, well, Bailey can fucking fix anybody.
I think that's what our ownership group would do. I think if you have most of the other ownership groups that are with it and alphas in that chair up there, they would think of it like, oh, I need to take advantage of this situation. By that, I mean, I need to go get a Corbin Burns right now. I need to go trade for a top-of-the-line George Kirby. I don't care if it takes 3 of my top prospects in my top 15 to do it, because I know Andrew Bailey is going to take a guy that is a potential top 5 Cy Young pick for this year and turn him into a top 2 Cy Young pick in the next 1 to 2 years just by being around him day to day, let alone just introducing him to Kyle Bodie and Craig and the rest of the group that is in that pitching laboratory doing the work.
That's actually a really good point that I didn't think about, is if he can do that with this, he could probably do it with quote unquote anybody, which now on the flip side of this argument may actually give them more confidence to go out and make a trade like that, or go.
I would hope so, man.
Like right now, I actually think, I know we try to go out and get one of the Seattle Mariners younger pitchers, but like right now, George Kirby's not looking good this year. Like,
no, trade value very far down, probably.
Trade value very far down. Like, that right there could be something. Like, now, will it happen? Most likely not.
Probably
I'm
not.
sure Seattle sees something in him. They know something's up. Like, they're just trying to.
More likely to get freaking Pete Alonso.
We're not putting on the tinfoil hats this episode.
No. We promise.
I can promise you, though, once we get to the trade deadline area, we're going to have some theories on that. But
full-blown armor.
I did really just want to make that point, though. And honestly, you turned my mind around, because, again, my biggest fear was like, fuck, if he's this good, we're never going to invest again in pitching. But I think you've convinced me that on the flip side of it, Andrew Bailey's convinced ownership that like I can do this. So bring in bigger name guys and let's not worry about how much we're paying them. They're going to go out there and produce as long as they're healthy.
Do you think Andrew Bailey knows anything in regard to fielding and then throwing ground balls in the infield? Do you think he knows anything about that and how to turn it around there like he has done with the pitching staff?
Unfortunately, I'll put it this way. He's really good at one thing. Let's leave him really good at that one thing.
Right.
And maybe find somebody else who's really good at that aspect.
Just then he have anyone close with him.
My humble opinion, we had somebody in the minor leagues that got let go last year. And I don't know if it was his decision or the team's decision, but we had a guy, Darren Fenster, that was our minor league infield developmental coach, which I know our defense hasn't looked the best over the past couple of years and whatnot. But this guy, I've listened to him speak multiple times at the ABCA. I follow him on Twitter and stuff like that. I've read some of his stuff. This guy is a really good baseball mind. Getting rid of him was a huge loss to the team. So I would have loved for him to have stayed in there. And that's just a complete side note. Darren Fenster was his name. Go follow him on Twitter, anything like that. Try to type in some of his ABCA videos. You're going to see some really, really good stuff
I'm gonna have to look it up.
him. He's got some really good stuff. Actually, I think I have from my first year going to the ABCA. By the way, those of you who don't know, that's the America Baseball's Coaching Association, where they host it once a year, and it's just a gathering of hundreds and hundreds of baseball coaches every year that get together, and then they pick out speakers. So like Tim Corbin from Vanderbilt's done it. I heard Buck Showalter talk. What's his name on MLB Network? So Harold Reynolds talk. A ton of top names, whether it's college, high school, professional baseball, go out there and speak, and it's remarkable. So anyways, long story short, you convinced me. I think it's a good thing. Obviously it's a good thing, but like it's not going to lead to not signing or trading for guys. If anything, it's going to instill more confidence.
Right.
That's all I had to speak about. I did have another couple topics, but again, we're pushing 2 hours here, so want to see what else we got.
Yeah,
so you have one thing.
Yeah, so this kind of leads beautifully into our series preview. After today's game, the Red Sox called up left-handed reliever Cam Boozer for the upcoming road series in
Let
Pittsburgh.
me tell you, the Sox just got their Boozer shots, people.
Woo! Big time Boozer shot.
I'm hoping it comes with a second dose of it.
I really do too, and I hope it lasts forever. He has a small sample size with Worcester this year, but it has been relatively dominant. He has thrown 6 2/3 innings out there with 15 Ks to 1 walk, a 2.7 ERA. That FIPSky 0.13. Holy smokes, buddy. He throws a fastball 92 to 95 out of the pen, but he has been seen getting it up to 100, the triple digis, brother. Imagine Kyle Brody
Triple
with this
digits,
man,
brother.
like full time. Oh my gosh, with a year, it's gonna be 107. Slider is 84 to 89 with that 1 o'clock to 7 o'clock shape. It's biggin'. This is the primary secondary pitch. His cutter's kind of like a show me 191, 93. Nothing really worth talking about here because he's going to be that primary lefty on left fastball slider monster from Dr. Bailey's laboratory. Side note here with that call up, we have 41 individuals on our 40-man roster, and if my math teachers taught me right, / if I had any time of paying attention in classes, that is one too many that we're allowed. So I think we need to let someone go.
Trevor Story's not on the 60-day IL yet.
Gotcha. So that's what they're going to do?
My guess would be Trevor Story, or there was one more pitcher that I can't think of right now that is not on, and literally blinking, that's not on the 60-day IL either. That should be. And it's
would
not
it be Fulmer?
No.
Fulmer?
All those guys are already on the 60-day IL. There's somebody else. Anyways, So Story's not on there. But if they don't go that route, then I'm hoping it's Joe Jakes. Hepatitis, see you later.
If it's not him, because you're calling up a lefty, get rid of a lefty. If you're going to get rid of a lefty, he's going to be the one. They're not going to get rid of Jolie. That would be the route. For me, get rid of Hamilton, dude. Get rid of him, or get rid of Pablo. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, just the same shit over and over and over defensively. It's recency bias probably with me right now.
1,000%.
God damn, I understand David Hamilton is still considered like an older prospect and he's in the system ranks for one of those and all blah, blah, blah. But, dude, like, I don't care. You haven't proved anything to be able to stick around here. So get out.
I had to be honest with you, would rather trade Hamilton and DFA like a Pablo Reyes or something like that, because as long as Romy Gonzalez is healthy, I'm perfectly fine with him taking the Pablo Reyes role.
Twice. Again, thanks Pablo for last year, but you're not doing it anymore in the slightest bit.
Not even remotely.
But all right, Trevor Story is realistic. Trevor Story is realistic.
I do think he is. So I'd mentioned this before, but before Cam Boozer was called up to the Boston Red Sox today, Woo Sox manager Chad Tracy was asked about his left-handed pitcher's handlebar mustache. And his quote is, he's 97 and 99 out of the bullpen with mutton chops. I like it. And I'm gonna tell you right now,
intimidation factor.
I think we might have the best team of mustaches. Sheriff Campbell, electric. Without Winks,
question. Yep.
Probably could be better, but you know what? Sure. It's mean, it's mighty, it's out there.
It's
and
dirty.
Now
it's dirty.
You're going to go out there and add this man's fucking handlebar mustache. He's got his little Jack Sparrow. So, like, he's got that. That's why I don't consider it a full mustache. You know what I mean? But you add now a third handlebar or third stash to the pen. I think if we somehow make the playoffs, we go playoff stashes as a team.
Allen Embry vibes all day. All day. And that is just creating an identity right there. But hopefully it won't wait until the playoffs. Anyways, series preview time.
Who?
We got a 3-game slate. 3-game slate in Pittsburgh against the Pittsburgh Pirates. They are not as good as their record shows. They normally start off hot. All right, like I get it. We're all right. But you know what? Our pitching staff is going to shut that up fast. Okay? Friday, tomorrow, April 19th, we got Brian Bayo versus TBD. I cannot imagine when Pittsburgh throws TBD like we do, they get same results or similar results. It's a Bayo day. It's not a day game. It's a 6:40-ish start time. We're going to consider that dusk nighttime. Okay? So he's going to shove it. Saturday, we'll have Cutter Crawford with the .42 ERA facing Mitch Keller, who is notorious at giving up crooked numbers in each and every start he has. Congrats on being an all-star last year, though, man. Good for you. Sunday, the Red Sox are pitching TBD against an old friend of ours, Martin Perez.
Day against TBD?
Oh, yeah, Coño Mamaguevo, Martin. I'm a little concerned because of the lefty on left right there, but hey, well, it's okay. It's okay. Here's my thing here. Real short and sweet. Bale's going to fucking shove game 1, okay? Game 2, I'm minorly concerned for Cutter. In years past, Brian Reynolds, in this very small sample size, has fucked him up. 2 home runs versus Cutter in that very small sample size. Game 3, despite the Red Sox having a heavy lefty lineup, I do think they get to Perez, and I think it is going to be Slick Dick Reese McGuire holding it down excuse me, choked on some sticky. Reese is 667 career in a small sample size against Martin Perez. And I just like Reese here. He's going to come out in that last game when it's a split series 1-1 from Friday's win and Saturday's potential loss because of the bullpen, and Cutter leaves with a no decision currently. That Reese Slick Dick McGuire is going to get the job done clutch and win a game and take Martin out of the game with a jack over the goddamn bridge out there.
Over the bridge and through the woods?
Yes. He will go at the end of the game and pick that thing up in his vehicle.
That's a bold statement. You don't think
Get out
Connor
of the car,
Wong
grab the baseball, spit on his hand, spit on the baseballs, rub them. That is all.
That
Child-friendly
is all
podcast.
He's going to do. That is correct.
Indeed. And then he's going to drive to the hotel, tuck himself in, and go to bed.
Right to bed. He's not going to visit a Dollar Tree.
He's seriously taking this celibacy thing. We're really proud of him.
So speaking of
he's doing it.
celibacy, real quick, and just a simple answer out of you: how many consecutive games without an error is it going to take for this team to not be celibate anymore? I have a number in my head. Okay,
a whole series. It can be 3, it can be 4, but it needs to be a full series, and they need to win that series.
To get out of full celibacy and back to fucking on defense, I need 6 games without an error. And that's asking a lot, but I want to get out of full celibacy. I don't want a little I want 2 straight series of no errors, good, clean baseball. And I think we're out of celibacy. So, sorry, that was just a very quick question. It's daunting, but you know what?
I like it.
We're a Major League fucking baseball team. You should be able to play 6 games and not commit a fucking error.
Damn
all right,
right.
so
You're damn right.
What's your series prediction here
them?
with our 3-game homestand and going into this?
Friday we got a dub. Bayo Day. Nighttime. Against TBD.
I love TBD. Listen, TBD.
Bayo all day.
He hasn't been great this year for anybody, but there could be days that TBD surprises you.
He can step up, that is for sure. Game 2, Cutter versus Keller. I get nervous, dude. Cutter's been
But he's also had no run
good
support, though.
that he's got to come down. That too. He's the one guy that we get a year that doesn't get the run support in that pitching staff. He's the guy. So I'm going to chalk that one as
my
a tough
concern
loss yet again for Cutter.
Too with that game is Keller is an all-star caliber pitcher when he's right in pitching. Clearly, he made an all-star team last year, as you had noted. Congratulations to that. But what my fear is that we seem to be a team that helps get pitchers right, and I don't want that to be against Keller.
Our strikeout rate and his stuff in the arsenal, that is a major concern here as well. Right on board with you there. Another reason why that is a potential and likely loss, in my guess, for the loss of the series, the middle game. In our Sunday matchup, Game 3, I think that is the
TBD
win.
Versus
I think
Perez?
Martin is going to give us correct TBD, but yes, but I truly think I think this is the series that it's going to be the exorcism of that. My take of it's going to take us a series win and a series long of no errors. I think this is the series. You want to know why? It's because they're on a road trip. They have to go travel to Pittsburgh right now as a group after the shit that they just did today. The getaway time is the day as well. Everybody's bullshit pissed and embarrassed and disgusted, and they have to sit there on that plane for how many hours or whatever they're traveling on. And they're going to have to figure that shit out from now until tomorrow when they wake up and go to the freaking ball yard to take their pregame shit.
I love it. So what's your final prediction?
2-1 Sox, 0 errors in the series. Bayo gets a win. TBD gets the win. Cutter gets a no decision. It's a bullpen loss on Saturday. on Keller Day.
I love that take, and to be honest with you, and I know it may seem we're going optimistic a lot of the times. I was pretty confident about 3-1 against the Guardians and whatnot.
Me as well.
I do truly, in my heart, believe a 2-1 series is coming out of this. I don't think it's going to be a pretty 2-1 series, but we're going to come out of it with 2 wins. I'm jumping the gun here, but I'm just going to throw it out there because then we go and play Cleveland again after this. Else to say it, and this is for next pod, but I don't give a fuck. We're sweeping. We're sweeping.
Do
we're
it.
Sweeping Cleveland.
Did you say we're sweeping?
That we're sweeping, baby.
Oh shit!
We're going to go 2-1 against Pittsburgh. We're going to go out there, and we are going to absolutely shove it down the goddamn throats. We're going to play mediocre baseball and come out of there with 2 wins, and then we're going to go into Cleveland, and we're going to fucking sweep them.
Yes! Fire me
The vibes
up,
are
man.
back. I don't even know why, but I have a good
Let's
feeling
go.
that genuinely out of the next 6 games, we go a crisp 5-1, and the fucking boys are back. By the next time we're recording this pod, we are going to be moving up in the standings. We're going to sit there, and we're going to have a lot of positivity to talk about.
That would be 15-11. Oh my Lord. That would be beautiful, and I can see it inside of your crystal ball right now, and you have been right so many times this young season. Oh, I cannot wait. I cannot wait to sit back and listen to the crickets of these frickin' pricks that have been down the throat of all of these dudes from the jump. Not even from the jump, from before the jump. Have a little
Just a little
faith.
bit.
They're going to
Just a
figure
little
it
bit.
out. We're 20 games in. 12% of the year.
Just a little bit of
We got
faith,
this
that's
shit.
all I ask. Don't shit on us because we want to be optimistic about this team. It's not our fault. It's not the players' fault that John Henry hates the Red Sox and doesn't want to spend money on it. Let's try to enjoy the product that's on the field. I know that it's difficult. I get it. But you know what? There are a lot of positives to take away from this. And it is frustrating that we are losing games because of errors. I get it. But our pitching has been unbelievable. Yes, our offense has been polarizing, where they put up 7 runs one game, they put up 0 runs the next game. But if we can find a little consistency, which we will, again, the season's early. Cassis hasn't even started getting going. I know he's getting there. He's putting it from first gear into second gear right now. But that third and fourth gear is coming. Massa hasn't even started yet. Tyler O'Neill's going to be coming back, baby. Wilder's heating up at the plate. Sedane has fucking hit shit. He's due to get going. Vaughn Grissom's coming back in another week. That is a right-handed bat we desperately need that is going to come in and play. Rafael Devers is going to come back. You got Reese swinging a hot stick. You got Wong playing like he's fucking 0-4 David Ortiz right now. I'm telling you, there is positives coming, and once everything clicks out once, we're going to see one of those runs where the Sox go 20-3. That's an aggressive statement, but they go 17-4, something along those lines, where they get one of those hot runs, and next thing you know, it's holy shit, we can fucking do this. And I believe that starts right now with Pittsburgh, and then a sweep of Cleveland, and then you also are coming into that Atlanta series coming up. You go out and prove against a real baseball team that you're good, and you're coming off the positive vibes of 1-1. I mean, of 5-1 out of a 6-game instead right there, and then you go into Washington, baby. I'm pretty much regurgitating what you had said last podcast that got fired me up, but now it is fully injected into my veins and flowing through my body, that it is moving to certain parts and making them move in ways I didn't know could move, that I am buying into it right now.
Everything that we have said is factual based on what we said last pod as well here. We said that the 7 games with the Guardians, we were going to go 4-3 realistically in that 7 game set with them between the 4 and 3s. We're 1-3 right now. You just said we were going to sweep. That's 4 and motherfucking 3. Unfrickin' real. The rest of it to be determined. But man, outside of Atlanta, that's a fairly weak and vulnerable group of teams that I cannot wait to see this pitching staff carve up and for these bats to get hot against.
I'm just saying, too, Max Fried hasn't looked the way that he has. You got Shredder out with a Tommy John for the year. I think that we have a chance to prey on that offense. And if our pitching staff is who we think they are right now and they shut that down, again, we're jumping the gun here and we're going to talk much deeper into this, but I just have very good vibrations coming.
Way too many. It might be a bad thing for our mental health in the next 4 weeks,
but that's the thing though. I'm going to ride the highs, which
fuck it.
The crazy part is there hasn't even been any since our 7-3 fucking start.
We're not even on a high.
And even then it wasn't a great high.
No, that might be the bold side of whiskey.
We have not had a true high yet, and I think we are coming close to one, and we are going to fucking ride that roller coaster.
I can smell it.
I love it.
I can smell it.
But as we are closing in here to a 2-hour pod that we promised you we would not give you, great talk today. That was a good pod. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was beautiful,
do
dude.
you,
that was a fun
my
time.
friend, have any final thoughts, closing thoughts, questions, comments, concerns, short speeches, anything of that nature?
Red Sox pitchers good. Defense bad. Offense, got to be better. Go Sox.
You heard it here, folks. Go Sox and go Jarren Duran.
Let's get this one, baby!